that kind of stood out for me, they were the ones that I watched. The two fights that stood out for me was Jack Massey, Siobhan Clark. How Siobhan Clark dragged himself off of the ground after getting knocked down twice, and it was like, and to be fair, he could have got stopped.
Different ref would have stopped that.
Yeah. Right, but you know what I mean, and Siobhan Clark got up and he fought real hard. And then he got the stoppage win. And Jack Massey is no mug. He's a very, very
experienced
good fighter. He's a world-class fighter because he fought overtime for the world title as well.
Waiting for Fearon in collaboration with Boxers in Need, episode 11, Real Talk, keeping it real.
Spencer,
how
are you doing?
I'm good, you know. How you guys been keeping?
I like the t-shirt as well. Hill and Gully.
You know, let's got these guys. I did a charity run yesterday, 10Ks to raise up funds for schools in Jamaica that got damaged by the hurricane. And fair play, like this company Hill and Gully, they got a t-shirt brand. So I said, don't worry, man, I'll wear your thing. They thought, I was joking, but I wore their thing, so I'm giving them a big shout out because they were out on the run as well, trying to collect money. And the High Commissioner of Jamaica was there as well. So it was a nice setting. A massive big up to Nathaniel Pete. So yeah, we raised a little bit of funds, and it's going to go back to Jamaica to help the schools out there, because a lot of schools got badly damaged out there. So yeah.
That's true.
I appreciate that, because my mum's in America right now, seeing a sister, and they did a concert there yesterday to raise money for our church. Church on the hill in the village,
right?
Repair it and stuff like that, because a lot of the village got damaged. So church as well, they did quite a lot for the church. So doing a concert in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, everyone, we got to do our bits, we just got to do our bits.
What I like about you, always keep it a good positive energy help. It's all about giving back, man.
Bro, listen to me, I'm not perfect. I haven't done, there's many people that could tell you the total uber opposite to anything that I could turn around and say. But what I'm saying is but when it comes to going out and trying to help, then no one can't say that Spencer ain't tried to help. I could try to help and things will even go wrong, but I tried to help.
That's all we can do is try, right?
That's what you can do. That's what you can do.
Listen, let's get kick-started. This week, 2 shows on. Let's talk about the Zuffa show first. What we feel? Are you feeling it?
I'm gonna be real with you. Because I'll tell you why I was feeling it. I was feeling it mainly because of the 2 fights that kind of stood out for me. They were the ones that I watched. The 2 fights that stood out for me was Jack Massey, Siobhan Clark. How Siobhan Clark dragged himself off of the ground after getting knocked down twice, and it was like, and to be fair, he could have got stopped.
A different ref would have stopped that.
Yeah.
Right, but and Siobhan Clark got up and he fought real hard. And then he got the stoppage win. And Jack Massey is no mug. He's a very, very
experienced
good fighter. He's a world-class fighter because he fought overtime for the world title as well. He's a world-class fighter. He's got good wins on his record. And that's the next thing that people seem to forget. Because, his win over Isaac Chamberlain is
we were there for that.
Right, I know you was. Right, it's not talked about enough. And that was a very, very good win. Isaac Chamberlain is a very talented professional. So, that fight was a really, really good fight, right? To whet the appetite, but then to see Chris Billen-Smith and this Riziki geezer go at it, right? Yeah. There was a lot of talk, and I'm just going to keep this thing real, right? Because we've seen the beef between Eddie Hearn and Dana White, yeah?
Let's talk about it after.
Right. These guys are business people. They're going at each other. So what? That's not my business. I don't give a shit. You lot could go fight each other if you feel like it, right? Just give me the fights that I want to see. As a boxing purist and a historian, give me the fights that I want to see, right? And when I'm seeing 2 guys go at it, like which we witnessed in the Chris Billen-Smith fight, right? Technically, it wasn't good, right? Technically, you could also see in Shane McGuigan where when he was talking, say like he didn't like that, and that's because Shane McGuigan has empathy for his fighter, and he's also coming from lineage. Say whatever you want to say about Barry McGuigan, the man was a WBA world champion at a time when it was a sought after thing to become a world champion. They weren't giving out titles, right?
Yeah.
And he fought Espen. What am I talking about, right? He fought Projeza to become world champion. So all the credit in the world where it's come down the line. So his son's seen certain things, being in the game in a different way. His eyes are different, right?
Yeah.
Right? His eyes are different. So when I saw that, I was saying to myself, fair play to Zuffa. Also, what I liked about Zuffa, right, was the presentation of the commentators. Because all of a sudden now, guys are getting kind of scruffy when they're going out doing commentary. Guys are like, oh, we're just no. Let me tell you this now, yeah?
Johnny,
for you to be in a position to be a presenter, right? If you go to the top universities, and when you see the lecturers are wearing ties and suits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a reason why that is. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't go into a courthouse, right? The judges are in uniform. You know what I mean? The barristers are in uniform, right? The lawyers are in uniform. So there's a thing here. Why are they in uniform?
Yeah.
They're in uniform to signify who they are. They're people of importance.
Yeah.
So therefore, I like when I saw Johnny Nelson in his nice little two-piece number. I see the new young lady, like the Anna Woolass lookalike. I see her, right? I see her. I'm not dissing the girl. I don't know.
I know what you're saying.
Right, but when I like to see that, I like to see when you're in uniform. The fact that I actually watch the fights on Paramount, and I like listening to Andre Ward. You know what I mean? I pick up bits from Andre Ward. I like Andre Ward a lot. You know what I mean? I spent a lot of time with him.
How can you not, man?
Right, exactly. So when you're seeing that, I like that part of what they're trying to put together. You know what I mean? So credit. You know what I mean? Because I thought the show was going to be really bad and really shit, and it wasn't those kind of things. But that was good that I went there thinking that was going to be, because I had no expectations of what I was going to witness. But massive big up to Shah, who's the promoter for Zuffa, because she hooked us up. She hooked up the guys from TCU 29. She hooked up all the staff tickets to go and watch the fight, and they really did enjoy it. So
the one thing about Dana White, if you've been following for long enough and been watching UFC, he always does his homework and tries to get competitive fights. That's the way they want to do it. They want 50-50 fights all the way down the line. That's the way they're going to move.
Well, the thing about it is this. I was doing this 50-50 fights being 15 years ago when I had Hard Knocks Promotions, right? And I hope that it continues to be that. Like, they are 50-50 fights. It's going to be kind of different, like when you're in world title fights and
stuff. You're not going to see many journeymen on their cards.
Right. No, but I'm not going to be real with you, yeah? Journeymen are literally, that's what they are, and they are fillers. But if you're looking at it for the entertainment and you're looking at it for the longevity of the sport, yeah? Journeymen are needed for a certain time, but if they're building it in the way that they're building it, then we'll see. But if you look at the UFC, the UFC fighters don't really get longevity, right? So it's an interesting time. It's not for me to be overly critical. I didn't like the fact that they tried to getting rid of the Muhammad Ali Act. I didn't like that, right? Especially like this year's the 10th year since Muhammad Ali's passing. I didn't like that.
How's that going, that case?
I have no idea. I haven't been, right? But what I am going to say is I did enjoy the fights.
Yeah. And
I think they're very clever in what they did, because they said, right, we're not going to come in and make some big ballyhoo about coming into the game. We're going to go, we're going to put on a show, and we're going to let the show speak for itself, right? Because I'm just going to keep this thing 100. Within that team or people, which they got, there are no boxing people in there. I'm going to be real. So therefore, they're just talking about business. So I'd like to know there's got to be some form of a boxing person in the back, right? Who ain't been up front to say, right, because those matches were good strategic matches. They was fun. I like to know who they're using. You know what I mean? I really would.
Listen, I talked to Johnny about it. He called me up press conference day last week, 2 days before the event. He goes, "Y'all, these guys are rolling, man. They brought 60 people in. They've got a position for everything. We even got a person who's going to just carry a bag. They've got someone who does that job. They're well organized. They've got every position you can imagine covered."
Wow.
Well, I hear that, but I want to know, like, when it comes to the matchmaking and who are the boxing people in there. Because I'll tell you one thing that Eddie Hearn did very, very smart. When Eddie Hearn came into the game, right? And it seems like many, many moons ago, right?
Yeah.
Right? When Eddie Hearn first, was it 2010 he came in, right? When Eddie Hearn came into the game, he had all the old guards around him where he was there as a sponge to suck up their knowledge. He sucked up all of their knowledge, and then what did he do? He got rid of them. Right? He got rid of that old guard, and then he employed all these little young kids, these young guys, so they could they'd be in alignment with what's going on in today's world, right? But at the same time, when he sucked off all their knowledge and then he got rid of them, now you've got young kids in there, yeah, who don't know no one from no one. They're not boxing people. Like, you'll turn up, they won't know who you are, they won't know who don't. They don't. So you need those, or you need the older head who say, no, to kind of, this guy is this guy. And just because of what they've done. I remember years ago, I was at a fight, I can't remember what fight it was. I think it was a Tony Bellew fight, you know? And John Conti, who was a superb world champion, and he was David Haye before David Haye, right? A really handsome dual heritage man who could fight. He was doing adverts and everything, John Conti. And I remember John Conti being there. And even though, like, at a time when he was world champion, like in the late 70s, going into the 80s, right? And John Conti was there, and he weren't sat ringside.
It's wrong, innit?
Right. And to me, I find that very disrespectful.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's because these young kids don't know who people are. You turn up and they say, who's he? And you need somebody there to say, yo, this is, you know what I mean?
Listen, we talked about this a couple of times on this podcast. I agree.
Right, and you got to give respect to the elders. Yeah. But, you know, it's a new age. It's a new age. Yeah. And it's all about the clicks and the likes and and all the rest of it. Yeah, that's for now. But when you look at if you look at that of substance, you need those people who are of substance. And I hope that they have got those people of substance. But what I can say with Dana White, he is profoundly business. There was nothing else about him. He's all about the business. So we'll sit down and we'll see where he goes from here. We'll see.
That's what Johnny says. He's all about the business as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's what he's about.
Listen, let's talk about the Sheffield show. Josh Padley. Did you see the fight? Did you see the Sheffield one?
What, against Fawaz kid?
Yeah. That was a good fight.
You know what?
I could watch it. It was a good fight. If you hadn't seen it.
No, I did watch it. I did watch it.
On the zone?
No, it was, on the zone.
The zone. I watched a bit of it.
That was good.
Right?
Watched both.
I'm saying that Fawaz kid is a very good kid, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But his style of fighting, is very shoulder rolly and that kind of. But I know he's not being trained by people that teach that, and that's not me having right. He's not with the like.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Right, that kind of. You know what I'm trying to say?
I hear you. I get you.
Yeah, that's not really their style of fighting where they come from. Don't get me twisted. Jamie Moore, Nigel Travers, they are brilliant trainers, right?
I hear you.
They are brilliant trainers, and also they don't train all of their fighters to fight the same way, right? They're brilliant trainers, but I don't know if they really know how to deal with that kind of style. Because the guy was shouldering, but he weren't coming back with stuff. You know? I
often think the same way. I think Jamie Moore and Nigel Travers, he trained with
them. They're fantastic trainers.
They're very good trainers. When I see Nazim's son's training with him, it baffles me a little bit because it's like they're completely opposite style.
Their style's not for him.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Well, the thing about it is this. What I'm saying is, you ever have a conversation with Jamie Moore, you realize that brother really knows boxing. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
No, seriously. Like, you have a conversation with him, and it be looking at little nuances and saying like, oh, well, I know they're going to do this because how they position themselves. And I know this from like 10 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? So Jamie knows boxing, man.
For all I know, he could be in the gym and he could be teaching them that. I don't know. I'm not in the gym with him, but I'm just saying from the outside.
I'm being real. I don't know if they teach that stuff. I don't think there's many trainers in the UK that do teach that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, because that is an American style.
It'd be more like watching Tundi do it, right?
Yeah, well, that's Tundi's speciality. But you know what? Them fights ain't gonna go to Tundi. But that's not me trying to ruffle no feathers for it or that. You know what I mean? Because me and Jamie and Nigel are really cool. But I'm just saying that style that the kid presents. Anyway.
Listen, what did you think of the Spider fight? Ibrahim.
Richards.
You know, Ibrahim Sulaiman, he picked up the super featherweight English title. He fought Nadeem, the Ricky Hatton's fighter.
You know what? That was a good fight, you know? You was at the show, right?
No, I wasn't there. I was in London when I get my license. Yeah, so I watched it on TV.
I watched bits of that fight. That was a decent fight, you know.
He used some skills on the back foot. He's very talented. He's got a
listen.
Which do you mean Sheffield?
Steel City.
Oh, Steel City.
Is that Steel City, yeah?
Yeah, he moved to Steel City.
Okay, yeah. You know what? Credit to that youth, man. Good fighter, man.
Listen, I want to talk about last night, actually. I'm gutted that I didn't go to the Ricky and the event. We went to the funeral. To be honest with you, God might have went in mysterious ways, because the funeral and losing Ricky last year is still pretty raw, you know.
You know what I mean?
Still pretty raw.
I know quite a few people went up there. Do you know what? I want people to realize, like, we'll just meet this stuff on the rest of it. I think that Coogan Cassius, because remember, people seem to over IFL. Yeah. Coogan used to be Ricky Hatton's bodyguard. Do you remember that?
Ricky got him into it.
Yeah.
First interview was Ricky.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying, like,
Ricky started all this, if you think about it.
Set it all up.
Think about that. Coogan was the first, right? Big shout out to Coogan. But Ricky gave him the opportunity to do an interview.
Opening doors for him.
They opened the door.
He did. Massively. But you have to say, like, because you're pretty good with dates, John. So what year was that?
That would be in 2011, I believe.
2011?
Yeah, 15 years ago, yeah.
Right. And I'm going to tell you now.
Because he was out in America with him when he fought Pacquiao.
Yeah, in the UK, and these men will tell you, it worked. Coogan wasn't the first to start this.
Who was? Talk to me.
I was the first person to start this.
Yeah, talk to us.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, I'll tell you now, straight saying, I'm just going to be real. I was at Satanta Sports in 2008.
David Hayden.
Right? And it was a guy called Karen Baines, who was an editor.
Yeah.
And nobody weren't doing this stuff. And this is factual. Yeah. So the first big interviews that I got were Mike Tyson.
Wow.
Right, Mike McCullum. And it was Mike Tyson and Mike McCullum. That were the first big interviews. And they're still up now on YouTube.
Yeah.
They got nuts numbers. So we started that because we started the program online. So like, all the old guys know, right, I remember when you was doing that. And I'm grateful for that because off of the back of me doing Satanta, then I did a bit with my friend Ben Doughty, and then from there I went to Sky. So, you know what I mean? And it's like those shows are like my audition to get to Sky, kind of. But those guys weren't involved in the game them times. But then when Coogan and that came in, I was concentrating solely on hard knocks boxing promotions, and then things they went really well for me for about 2.5 years. So you know, I mean, I'm grateful for that. But those guys weren't. But Coogan is still the godfather because, and I tell everyone because Coogan Cassius was the person that gave me the name, the knowledge.
Yeah.
Coogan and James Helder, I don't want to leave him out, right? But they were the guys that gave me the name, the knowledge, because they say, nah, your stuff is But when I first started that, it was a guy called Karen Bates. He was saying the thing with you, Spence, you don't ask the best questions, but you get the best answers because you're an ex-pro. You're talking to the guy. And remember, I just recently retired at that time. So a lot of the guys there, they were my pals. But yeah, I had some proper classics, and I remember covering Joe Kawasaki in April of 2008, Joe Kawasaki versus Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say
remember
that.
going out to Vegas for that fight as well. And then when we was out there, Amir Khan was out there in his limo.
Yeah.
So Amir Khan's running around in his limo, and he goes, "Oh yeah, come on, let's go to Gucci." He's only a little kid then. I said, "I didn't walk." So we all jump in the vehicle. I said, "Nah, I've got to go interview Mike Tyson." And I said, "You want to come and meet Mike Tyson?" He said, No. I want to go to Gucci, man. I want to go to Gucci." I said, "You young kids, you don't get it. You got an opportunity to spend time with Mike Tyson. You didn't go.
Crazy.
You want to go."
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, that's how it is, man.
Listen, there's 3 people that when we started out that I wanted to talk to. What I call them the 3 unicorns, right?
From the beginning.
I've done one of them, right? I don't get nervous. If Anthony Joshua walks in the room, Tyson Fury, it doesn't bug me. But I know there was 3 unicorns that I knew when they walked in the room, I was going to get nervous. You was there for one of them, and he was even more nervous to me. It was Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones. And
when we walked in that room when Roy was in front of us, it was nice. Weird, man. Like, like I could feel my legs shaking a little bit, like, wow, because I look up to that man, right? And the other one is Mike Tyson. I've never met Mike Tyson. And Manny Pacquiao. They're the 2 that I want, Pacquiao and...
But you see, the baddest thing is this, like, God rest Eric Guy, who passed away. Eric Guy was the original man.
He was in that. What's that group?
Eric Guy was the original guy from amateurs. Would have all your amateur fights. You go to him. You had an opponent that you're gonna go and fight. Your phone, Eric, have you got blah blah? Send these over there. Yeah. 5 quid a tape, right? Eric Guy was the original man. Yeah, you know what I mean? And his catalog of fights, God rest his soul in prayer. His catalogs of fights that he's got on VHS that he used to go and set up and just film the fights, what he must have. Trust me, the amount of stuff that man must have, and I don't know where they are now because Eric Guy was the original guy, right? He was the original. But I remember when he was doing his stuff, and I interviewed Manny Pacquiao. I interviewed Manny Pacquiao. When Manny Pacquiao and Ricky Hatton were due to go and fight each other, what's that? 209, right? When they were due to fight each other, they came to London and they did a presser at the Imperial War Museum in South London.
I remember watching,
And I remember being with Floyd and Mayweather Sr., and Ricky Hatton, and me and Ricky Hatton was talking about the times when we were in the change rooms together because we boxed in the same card. And I interviewed Manny Pacquiao as well. That was a really cool day. But yeah. So no one can't. When you talk about, I've been foundation this thing in so many different facets.
I'll tell you a funny story. Technically, I've met Manny Pacquiao and he said hello to me. So funny story. I went on holiday in 2000, just before COVID. I got back 2 weeks before COVID started, so it must have been 2019 December time, because COVID was 2020, right?
Yeah, the start of 2020.
Yeah. So basically, we were staying in a Shangri-La hotel in Manila, nice hotel, 5-star hotel, and I'm come down on the lift or come out of the lift, and Pacquiao just stood in front of me like there. I look at my wife, look at him and go, "Are you right, man?" And he goes, "Yes, how you doing?" And then he went up and left. That was it. I'm like, wow. I should have said more. Because he was just shocked. I didn't expect to see him when I come out of the lift. I wouldn't even have to start the conversation, do you know what I mean?
Well, bottom line is you got that one on your resume, mate.
Yeah. But I do look forward to talking to him, obviously, because he's a man of God like me, and I'd really look forward to having that chat with him. And Mike is Mike.
Mike, I'd love to see Mike.
You know what I mean? Ali's gone, but Mike is Mike, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. I hear that.
Mike ran past me. That's the only time I've seen him when we were fighting in Manchester. Danny Williams.
Julius Francis.
He ran past me.
Julius Francis.
Yeah, he ran out the hotel. Sorry.
Danny Williams in America.
Danny Williams was American. He ran out the hotel and he ran past me, and I thought, oh, it's the only time I met him.
Yeah,
he was going to leave.
I was around. I was at the press conference.
We were there.
I was at the press conference. Yeah. But listen, it looked like Ricky Hatton got a good send off yesterday. Did you see?
Wow. No, it was. Yeah, I watched bits of it. It was amazing. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was amazing. And it was nice, fitting. tribute to a really nice man. I mean, forget about everything else. He was a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And it was nice that was put on, you know, and I hope that they raise a lot of money for the foundation for them to help the underprivileged. I really do hope they do that.
Yeah. God works mysterious ways. I think one part of me is glad I didn't go because I know it would have been emotional for us. The funeral was very emotional, wasn't it?
Yeah, the funeral was really, really good. Busy, seeing everybody there.
You know who,
Everybody.
I know who took out people's business, but you know who really took it badly? Because I've done a bit for the news. Quite a few news channels phoned me up to speak about it. So I did a bit, and Julius Francis took it really bad. You know,
Julius Francis. Yeah.
Yeah, took it really bad.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I cried more when Ricky died than when my own grandma and granddad died.
Yeah, why was that?
Because some of the fondest memories for me, and some of the trying times, you know, like me trying to be a boxer and the training around him, and the tough sessions and the tough experiences, it made me. I went from a boy to a man in some of them sessions. You know, where I basically I realized that anything's possible. You know, like you set the bar. Them training sessions set the bar for me. I could have broke me, but I didn't break. Do you know what I mean? And so, and then if you never met Ricky, like I could tell you some funny stories, like stories you shouldn't say online, but some
But don't say them.
no, but there's some stories that you have to tell, and I'll tell you a couple of stories. So, one of the funniest stories was one time I was going to go play pool between sessions, and we come out and we got in the car, and this guy come over and says to him, "How you doing, Rick?" And then he said, "Oh, get in," and he got in, and I wasn't paying attention, and we got to the where we were playing pool, and this guy's like been with us for 3 or 4 hours, and he goes, "I got gone now, Rick," and left, and then we said, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Never met him in my life before." He came up to me, and I was in a rush, so I put him in the car with me.
Mad.
He spent the head, no, he spent the day with him.
No,
That's how it was.
He used to do some weird stuff.
Do you know what I mean?
Man, he used to do some weird stuff.
Or when once we went after one of the sides went for fish and chips. He went to the counter first. He ordered 4 fish and chips. There was 4 of us stood there in total, right? So we think he's ordering for all of us, and he goes, "You guys not getting out," and then he get them all. You know what I mean? Like Ricky was out of all the people you'll ever meet, who, and this was probably his downfall as well, who was reachable, accessible, and open, because not every celebrity is, obviously. He was the most accessible person I've ever met at that level, because he never saw himself at that level. The one thing that made me sad, the saddest, is he goes out, he gives, he gives, he gives. If he has to walk 100 meters down the street, he's going to give his time. But then he goes on to that big house. Obviously, his relationship with his missus and the kids didn't work out, but he's now in that house, that big house on his own.
Himself, yeah.
And I often thought about him being in that house on his own and how lonely it must be. You know what I mean? Like I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. My wife's out sometimes when I'm at home, but sometimes if it's extended hours, it can feel lonely. Do you know what I mean? I often thought about that with Rick, because he's going from one extreme to the other.
That's it. One
time,
One time,
yeah.
Go on.
Those things are sad, yeah. And this is why I want people to realize, like, get your personal relationship with God.
That's it.
Right? Trust me, get your personal relationship with God, and you will never, ever be lonely.
I agree.
Right? Because now I don't care about whatever religious denomination you ascribe to, yeah? But there is something so uniquely powerful that when you bow your head in submission, or you hold up your hands to the Most High, because He is the Most High, right? And you'll say, like, and you could just pour it out to the Most High. You know what? My mom, and it's going to be 4 years on Thursday since my mom passed away, right? And anything that would go wrong, you know, my mom would say to me, "Just give it to Jesus, son."
Yeah.
Right? So I know on certain things, you know, I'm Muslim, I'm not, God's God, right? And more so, when you go through things, like certain people go through things, I've explained this many times to you, like in Psalms 23, where he says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff comfort me, right? What it means is that you're going to go through it. So you are going to face turbulent times. You are going to have times where you're going to feel demoralized or things are going against you, but you're going through it. Optimum word. It doesn't say, yea, though I walk and I'm going to stay right here. No. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Right? And more than anything, I'm going to walk through it, but I will fear no evil. So you have to think, what is the precept of evil? Evil, if you put a D in front of it, is the devil. So the devil, bottom line is this, you're not going to see no devil, no pitchfork coming at you, right? It's an energy. It's an energy. It's an energy, right? So if it's an energy, then whatever you give your energy to, that's what's going to have the power.
Our battle is not against flesh and blood. Yeah,
exactly. But principalities of darkness, right? So when you realize this part here, if we're going against the principalities, you have to be the principal to smash those principalities. So anyone turning around saying like, right, and I get it with anybody, because we understand the circumstances how Ricky left the planet, right? But I'm saying to anybody, you have any problems or all the rest of it, right? Then I'm saying give it to a higher being. And the reason being is because I know certain friends of mine who have been alcoholics, bad alcoholics, right? And they've gone to Alcohol Anonymous, and it is like you are subscribing that you're giving it to a higher being, right? Now, I don't care what you want to call the higher being, but you give it to a higher being to get you through this, right? And I think what's happened now is like we have forgotten to give to the higher being, right? Many of us have forgotten to give to the higher being. And what people need to realize, from once you've woken up, that means that you've been grinding another 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds of that day. You've been granted another day to wake up, and you're going to go and see that.
Amen.
You know what I mean? What you do with that is your choice. What you do with it. But you've woken up with that choice, but you've also woken up with that chance. So I'm saying grab this thing with two hands.
Where are there obstacles, there are opportunities.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is this. It's like when people talk about these obstacles, right? These obstacles is like parts when people say, oh, your strengths and your weaknesses. It's never your strengths and your weaknesses. It's always your strengths and opportunities, right?
Always.
But it's when you realize that this is actually opportunity. It's actually opportunity to strengthen me, right? And if I don't go through a certain adversity, I won't get stronger, right? Right, and exactly that. And as far as I'm concerned, these things are, it's sad because what you realize is that where I've seen good people in boxing who've taken their lives, and it's affected me, right? And it's also made me question what kind of friend was I? When Dean Powell took his life, the matchmaker, right? And Dean Powell used to live just down the road from my house. Once a month on a Friday, last Friday of every month, Dean Powell and Tundi would go out to eat at Caluccio's, which was an Italian restaurant off the Wharf Road in South London. We'd go and sit down and get something to eat there, right? And it was not even a week before he died. Me and he spoke on the phone, and we speaking about boxing. And then I had to go question myself. And we're talking about how Floyd Mayweather was slipping. Right, he's slipping. He was going on about it hard because I think Floyd just fought Cotto at that time. And we're saying like, yeah, he's slipping. He's definitely not the guy that he was. And I was saying what we was talking about that day. Yeah. And I know like, I was so immersed in my own shit that you didn't feel comfortable enough to kind of, to kind of talk to me or all the rest of it, but he took his life. So is there anybody out there, I'd rather listen to your problems than you to go chip out.
I'll tell you something. A kid who used to be on my group, who used to box with Ingles, called Nathan Joseph. He took his life last week, hung himself, right? he boxed with us, and then he went on to the doing bare knuckle as well. So R.I.P. to Nathan Joseph,
Listen,
which is Nate Dogg.
while you're adding that in, while I trained at the Ingles, two people died. You had Haroon, an Asian gentleman from Middlesbrough, took his life because his boxing career didn't work out, and Darren Sutherland, who I was close to. So, but the thing is,
let me tell you about Darren. Darren Sutherland, he came to London. He was training at my gym when I ran the Real Fight Club. Yeah. So me and Darren would have proper talks and everything else. I remember it was a weekday that he took his life.
Yeah, I was talking to Darren. So funny, we talked to Ricky Hatton 4 days before he died,
and Darren,
and I talked to Darren 2 days before he died. I was talking to him 2 days before. I just want to inspire. I just want to give you a little bit of confidence, Spencer. Right, I feel like you sometimes. So I felt like with Ricky that hit me like. But just had that little bit longer, and always trying to be, as a Christian, not always sharing the message, but being the message and being in people's lives. But ultimately, you never know what's going on in someone's head. Sometimes it can be a spur of the moment, a weakness in a moment. It can be a prolonged thing. Understand what I mean? Ricky seemed like he was getting around the bend. We talked to him.
Yeah, we did.
I talked to him deeply about it. Like, and he's, no, I'm good. I'm around it. I'm helping people. And he gave me the confidence that he was around it as well. Do you understand what I mean? So you just never know.
He puts a front on, like when he's around the camera or anybody, he put a front on. He never tell you what he's going through, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you're right what you're saying about the God thing. When you find God and you have that relationship with God, you never feel lonely. Do you know what I mean? Nothing on the planet can fulfill that void.
Nothing. But yeah. Anyway, lads.
Spencer.
It's always a pleasure.
Nice.
We'll check out.
You know the coup.
Yeah. So you're going to do it with us. If you're vibing,
start subscribing.
Boom.
13.
13th and the final round.
13th and final round.
13th final round.
You hit the comment.
Hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscription button.